Hey guys, welcome back to my next tutorial. And for this tutorial, I'm going to show you guys how to make up this hand sanitizer keychain. Just unbutton, and there it is. It's real quick and easy to do. Let's talk about what you're going to need. So, I just used Walmart's Mainstay for medium or a 4-weight medium acrylic, and that's all you guys are going to need. It's not any fancy yarn, so Red Heart Super Saver will work good. You're going to need keychains. Now this one does come with 2 different sizes. Open it. So you see how it has the big and the little? You can use either one, but I like the bigger better. Put these back. And now you're also going to need some buttons. Now I got these from Walmart in the clearance, but any buttons will work. You're going to need some needle and thread. My needle is rusty. Okay, then you're going to need, obviously, your hand sanitizer. And we're going to need 2 different size hooks. A 5.5 and a 4mm. So get your supplies together and let's get started on this. Okay, so I realize not everybody's going to have the same size hand sanitizer. So what we're going to do is I want you guys to start with a chain that's going to be wide enough for the biggest, the widest part of your hand sanitizer. So, obviously I don't want to make my chain the width of this part down here because it's smaller than the width up here, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to start with a chain of 10 and see how wide that works. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. So I'm going to lay this out. And I'm going to put the widest, the widest part of my, let me get this off here so you can see better. The widest part of my hand sanitizer on that chain to see if it's going to fully cover it. And it's going to fully cover. It's going to be perfectly, you know what I mean? Like it's going to, the hand sanitizer will fit in a chain of 10. So for your guys's hand sanitizer, what part of the container is the widest, and then just chain however many, doesn't matter. No, we're not going to have a stitch count, and to see how, how wide you need to go. So for mine, I'm just going to go for 10. Okay, now what we're going to do, we're going to single crochet in the second chain from hook, but I'm going to go into the back loops, into the back hump right there. This first one is a little tricky. So get into that back hump, and we're just going to work right down that chain. Okay, into the last chain. Get me some slack. That last hump right there, I'm going to work 2 singles. 1, get my tail out of the way, and 2. So I worked down my chain this way, and now I'm just going to turn it, and then there's our 2 remaining loops from our chain. So yeah, I am going to go 1 more right back into there, which, I mean, I realize that's the same stitch, but when we turn it over, it looks like a difference. So 1 in there, and then we're going to just single crochet right down the loops that are left. Okay, so now I have one more little, you can see it, one more little stitch right there, which it is the same one as the first single crochets in. So we're going to go ahead and work 2 into that one. So now it's just a continuous all the way around. So now what we're going to do is we're just going to keep single crocheting around. And you'll notice, see how it wants to cup right there? Well, the more we work around, the more it wants to cup. So we're just going to push that out. And when we keep working around and around, it's going to work up our hand sanitizer, making like a little glove for it. So just keep single crocheting. And you can work over this tail right here if you want to. You don't have to. You can weave it in later. See the cup right here? Flip that out. And just keep single crocheting around. No counting, no stitch markers. We're just going to keep going around and around. Around and around until this, you know, it's going to keep working up our hand sanitizer. So I'm just going to keep going a single crocheting around and around, and I'll come back and show you guys how far up the container I go. I'll be right back. Alrighty, so I'm back and I've worked around and around and around a few times. I'm going to slide this in here. I think I'm going to work one more round. See how it's shorter on one side than it is the other. I don't remember if I mentioned this or not, but I am using the 5mm for the majority of this. The only thing we're going to use the 4mm for is this keychain part right here. So depending on the, you know, the size of your guys's hand sanitizer, you may need to work it up higher or shorter, or, but I at least just want mine to just barely cover the top. And whenever we do stop, we're going to stop right on, you know, one of the sides. Oops, I yarned over. Make it to the other side here. Okay, just about there. And I'm going to stop right here. See how that fits. So whenever you guys are working yours, you know, just stop on one of these sides. Oops, slid it right out of my hand. That's good. I like the way that slides in there. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to work this little flap right here. And it's all one piece. Ugh, sorry. Okay, so get it back on there. So now what we're going to do is we're going to chain one and we're going to turn. And we're going to work right back into that last single we made. And work it into the next. And we're just going to work across to, you know, the stitch that's pinched whenever you lay this flat. So here to here. I'm going to be right back. I need to go blow my nose. Sorry about that. I'm back now. All right, so back to what we were doing. We're just going to single crochet across this back side. Making our little flap. We're going to work this just 2 or 3 more rounds, and then we're going to stop and we're going to sew in our button. Okay, right into that side one, the one that's kind of, you know, the turn. Work into that one. Chain 1, and we're going to turn and go back. Get some slack. Almost to the end. One more. Get in there. Okay. So it's starting to make a little flap. I'm going to go ahead and work one more round. So chain 1, turn, and then we're going to stop and put on our button. Now whenever I sew the button, I'm not a seamstress, so if I'm doing it different than what, you know, someone else does, I apologize. I'm just doing it the way I know how to do it. Okay, so I'm going to stop here. And if you can see, this other one I made, let's see, 1, 2, 3, it's between the 3rd and 4th row. I'm going to get my needle, get everything out of the way. Get me a long piece, which I don't even know if you guys can see, and of course I don't have a pair of scissors. Alright. Now usually I can do this off camera, but if I guarantee you, if I try to do this on camera, I'm going to mess this up. But I'm going to thread this. Got it. Okay. So I ran one side through the needle. I'm going to bring both, I lost one, dang it. Bring both these together, these ends. If I could get a hold of them, dang it. Okay. Both my ends here, and I'm going to tie them in a couple of knots. So there's my first one. Now I'm going to hold on to that knot and do it again, pulling down on one end so the other knot will kind of stop close to the first. Not exact, but it was close. All right, get me a button. Okay. tie this one more time. All right. So I'm going to lay the button to where the holes are between the third, fuzzy butt, quit, between the third and the fourth row. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4. So I want it right here. Doesn't have to be perfect. Try to keep that in the middle. I'm going to go from the back out one hole. And I'm just going to start going in and out, in and out. Oop, I bumped my camera. So go ahead and sew your button on. I'm going to finish this off camera. It's a little tedious. And I'll be right back. Alrighty, I got my button sewn on. I didn't get it between the third and the fourth row. I got it between the second and the third, which that's all right, no biggie. Nobody's perfect. But I'm going to keep working on this little flap until I get it a little bit closer to that button. So chain 1 and turn, single crochet across, oop, and whenever we're, working on this flap and we don't know whether it's long enough yet, make sure whenever you're determining if your flap is long enough, you have the hand sanitizer inside. So like right now I'm going to stop and put this in here and then bring it over. See, I can tell that it's not close enough yet, but whenever I didn't have it in there, kind of looks like it might have been. So make sure you have that inside whenever you're trying to determine if your flap's long enough yet or not. So I got a little bit to go. I'm going to go ahead and keep working this, and I'll come back and show you guys where my flap is with my button. See how much farther I need to go, or if it's good. Chain 1, turn. But anyway, I'll be right back. Alrighty, I'm back. So I've worked my flap a little bit longer, and when I close it, see how the button is just a little bit covered up by my flap? I'm going to stop here and I'm going to go ahead and do my buttonhole. Now, depending on your button size, you may need to, skip a few more stitches than I am, but I did, on this one, I skipped 3 to fit this button, and it's just a tad bit too long, or too big. Because once you get it in there, you get the button in here, and you pull on that. I don't want that stretch behind that button. So instead of skipping 3, I'm only going to skip 2. So what I'm going to do, let's see, how many stitches do I have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go from this end to this end, and I only want to skip 2 stitches. So I want to try to keep this, the stitches I have here and the stitches I have here. So, here's my buttonhole. The stitches I have on this side and this side the same, which that may not be the case for you guys, but it's not that big of a deal, It's still, if you're going to be off on one end, it's only going to be 1 stitch. So who's going to notice that? So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, see, I got them off 1, 5. So I'm going to skip these 2 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Skip these 2. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. So when I chain 1 and turn right here, I'm going to work 5 stitches, chain 2, skip 2, and 4. Which when it's all said and done, it's not going to be a big deal. So I'm going to work 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, chain 2, skip 2, and now I should have 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So there's my little buttonhole. Now just keep in mind though, I mean, depending on the size of your button, how big you had to make your little holder, you know, depending on the size of your hand sanitizer, yours might come out perfect, you know, or you might be off one like me, or, you know, you may have a big old button and have to skip 3 or 4, but it's pretty easy to, you know, determine what you need to do for your hand sanitizer. But so now I'm just going to chain 1 and turn and single crochet across like we have been. Now into my 2 chains, I'm not going to go into the space. I'm going to go straight into my chains and work 2 singles. So there's 1 and 2. So that's going to, the number of chains you had to chain to skip is the number of singles you're going to work into the chain. So if you had to chain 3 for the width of your button, then you're going to have to work 3 singles, you know, into your 1 single into each chain you skipped, or I mean you chained. So I'm just going straight across. Get in there. I'm going to work 1 more row. I hope that makes sense. I'm not I'm not good at explaining things. But what I mean, you know, if you have a button that you're going to need 4 or 5 chains to get over, you know, then chain your 4, finish your round, come back, work 1 into each of the chains, which should be, in this case, 4. And there you go. Okay, let's see how this looks. Ta-da! I like that. That's a nice fit. Okay, so I'm good with this. You guys may need to work more or less, what have you, but I'm going to go ahead and chain 1, pull up, cut this, pull that down, weave in that end, and then we're going to start the keychain holder part on the back. Okay, I'm going to weave in this end and I'll be right back. Oh, while I'm thinking about it, I did not weave in this tail. I just stuffed it in there. I can't speak. But anyhow, so go ahead and weave in your tail right here and I'll be right back. Alrighty, I'm back and I've got my end weaved in up here. And for the little keychain piece right here, take your hand sanitizer out and we're going to turn it around, and lay it flat. Get your 4mm hook. So I'm going to come down here and I want it, oops, about my camera. I want it to go on the first round of our flap. So I'm going to follow this in and I'm going to work over 4 stitches. So it's kind of the same concept for our buttonhole. I'm just going to go in. I'm going to start right there, and I'm going to single crochet around 4 stitches. Okay, so that's where I'm going to start. I'm going to slip knot on my hook. Dang it. Pull that down. I'm going to pull that through there. And I'm just going to chain 1. And then I'm going to go pull this so you guys can see. So I'm going to go around this, work a single. So that's going to count as 2, which I know that's not a single, but we're going to count that. So that's 2, 3, and 4. I'm going to stop and see how center that is. I think it looks pretty good. 1, 3. Okay. So basically just the same, concept as our flap. We're going to chain 1, turn, single crochet back into that first one, into the next, into the next, and then into the first one. Chain 1, turn, and we're going to keep doing this, just single crocheting back and forth until it measures roughly about 3 3/4, 4 inches. So keep working this back and forth, and I'll come back whenever I get mine roughly 3 3/4, 4 inches. I'll be right back. Alrighty, so I've worked that back and forth until I've gotten this piece to just about 4 inches. Pretty close. Okay, so to finish this off, I'm going to chain 1 and I'm going to pull a long tail out so I can use that to sew the keychain strap. Alright, so we've got our 2 long tails. So first what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this tail and I'm going to run it to the inside. I'm just going to take it straight in. Oop. And then I'm going to do the same thing with this end. I'm going to go ahead and just run that straight where this keychain holder part connects to the base. I'm just going to run it in there. So then it pulled that down. Now what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to tie a knot right here. Oh, I lost it. There. I'm just going to tie a knot there. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to weave this in and out, but every time I weave it in and out, I'm going to catch one of these stitches. So I'm going to just go through. I'm going to catch the top of this stitch. Oh, I forgot to put the keychain. Dang it. Pull that out. Crap. And I sat here and told myself when I was working on the keychain flap, don't forget to put the keychain on before you tie it. Grr. So undo that knot. There. pull that out. Get your keychain ring. Put your keychain ring on. Where'd my needle? There. Okay. Do this again. So I'm just going to run it right in there. Now tie a knot. I can't believe I did that because I told myself 4 or 5 times, don't forget to put the keychain ring on first. Okay, now I'm going to run this through this side, come out, and I'm going to catch a stitch on there, go back through the next, come through here, grab the next stitch, through there, trying to line it up nice and neat. Now I'm just going to keep going back and forth. Looks good. I'm going to stop there, and I'm going to go ahead and tie another knot with these two. Just like you're tying your shoestrings. Pull that tight one more time. Pull that tight. Weave these in. I'm going to do this off camera real quick. Okay, I got those ends weaved in. And that's it, guys. We're done. Put this in here. Ta-da! Looks good. This ain't going nowhere. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Thanks for watching. Check out all of my links in the description box. My Etsy shop, my Facebook group, my Instagram group, and I have a Twitter. I don't have any followers on Twitter yet, but I still post on there because Twitter's kind of fun. I like that app. Anyhow, thank you guys for watching. I appreciate it. Have a great day, guys. Bye.